Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news and notes mashup video today, starting with Tyson Fury, with his co-promoter Bob Arum saying, and I couldn't believe this when I read this, that Manuel Charr, who's now known as Mahmoud Charr, could be an opponent for Tyson Fury if Dillian Whyte, that fight doesn't happen next. So I'll go to those comments and then a bit of an update on the purse bid situation. But of a potential next fight, if it's not Whyte, he says you've got guys like Robert Helenius and Manuel Charr. You just look at the rankings and pick up a couple of guys from the rankings who would make decent opponents. Imagine saying that with a straight face. Manuel Charr, aka now Mahmoud Charr, aka the former WBA regular title holder who never defended that belt from when he won it in 2017. Ultimately, he was stripped, he was made a champion in recess, and now he's aka a former champion in recess, aka a former two-time scheduled opponent for Trevor Bryan, but had his pants pulled down by Don King 2 years running. Now, standing in the wind with no options, and bear in mind, no rankings. So what in the heck is Bob Arum talking about? Mahmoud Charr in his prime was never really any good. He was not world level, and he was certainly never a factor in the heavyweight division. So if you think you can try to set up a Mahmoud Charr Tyson Fury fight and expect people to be happy about it, come on, pull the other one. That's just dreadful. No one wants to pay for that, and that is sort of in that Tom Schwartz sort of level. That's a soft touch and a fight no one needs or wants to see in the year 2022. Despite Mahmoud Charr being on social media a couple of weeks ago, begging Tyson Fury on a social media to fight. Come on, fight me, all that sort of stuff. Sure, they had a couple of moments, a number of years ago where Charr sort of confronted Fury at an airport, and even Fury had sort of said publicly maybe in his comeback he would fight Charr. But if that was to happen, that was going to be one of those 2018 comeback fights. But that was occupied by Safiri and Pianeta. So Charr's sort of bankroll sort of, payday sort of situation, done and dusted. But for Bob Arum to say Mahmoud Charr, aka Manuel Charr, aka not even relevant in the heavyweight division, is a potential opponent for Tyson Fury, just dreadful. And why would BT, why would ESPN, why would any broadcaster with half a brain want to broadcast that, want to pick up the tab for that? Because Fury would be demanding a huge payday and Charr would still get well remunerated as well. And fans would just be all over the place just throwing up in disgust. Anyway, of a purse bid with Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury, remembering that fight ordered by the WBC, Fury WBC champion, Whyte interim champion. So he's saying of that potential purse bid not going to be happening on the originally rescheduled date, potentially happening on Friday. And we've got Eddie Hearn out here as well, also saying, where is it? Somewhere, I can't find it. Going to be on the 21st of January. I can't even find where that was, but I remembered that from a graphic I had seen. So we'll have to see. But he says, I think unless an agreement is reached, the purse bid will go ahead sometime in the coming week. Maybe not Tuesday, maybe on Friday, but there it is. The WBC has decreed that Whyte will get 20% of the purse bid, and the purse bid goes ahead. We'll figure out what 20% comes to. I'm always optimistic that a deal gets done before the purse bid, and I don't think a purse bid does anybody any good. I think the parties should sit down. There's plenty of money involved, and just work out a normal deal. Obviously, there's talks to try and settle the matter, so it goes ahead without purse bids. I guess we wait and see. Remembering Dillian Whyte not happy with a 20% cut. He is launching some arbitration with the Court of Arbitration for Sport. That's due to happen in March. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen. As I've said in recent videos, recent weeks, I think the purse bid situation, some of the details with this fight will just drag on. It's unlikely to happen when they're thinking it's going to happen, which would be March from what they're saying. But Eddie Hearn, he is not optimistic of a March date, saying people keep talking about March dates. That's starting to look unrealistic for a fight of this magnitude. Either March, April, early May potentially. This is the window for the fight. Depends what happens this week. There are so many conversations going on behind the scenes right now. Something could turn at any moment. You're talking about a lot of money, a difference of 25% in the split dispute. The normal split for any mandatory challenger is a lot more than 80-20. The normal split for an interim champion is up to 45%. We feel in terms of the commercial value of Dillian Whyte and the time he's had to wait, 80-20 is quite ridiculous, really. And yes, here's the post I couldn't find before. So Eddie Hearn saying 21st of January, explaining that to a BBC Sport. But someone who won't be a potential fight for Tyson Fury should the Dillian Whyte fight not happen next, and he takes an interim fight, not going to be Joseph Parker, as confirmed by Frank Warren, saying, "I've spoken with Tyson about Joseph and he'll never fight him." But miraculously, Joseph Parker, who just a week or so ago turned down the IBF final eliminator with Filip Hrgovic on the reason of sore elbows, and his promoter David Higgins out in public being quoted as saying that his sore elbows were preventing him from punching. He was training, but he wasn't punching, and he needed to go see a specialist. But lo and behold, this video emerges online, and well, he's putting quite a bit of mustard on those shots. So yeah, those elbows really healed up quick smart. I guess once he was dropped down the rankings by the IBF, rightly so, for effectively, I think what we can say was making up a bad excuse, which they didn't believe. He's just dropped the pretense of the sore elbows, because nothing about this shows that he's got any issues with his elbows, does it? Anyway, just on the WBO rankings, which are out. So the big mover, Luis Ortiz, number 8 here. That's all the way up from 15th spot. Obviously, earlier in January, he had a win over Charles Martin, so that's bolstered him up the ranks. Interestingly, though, Tony Yoka, who had been at 13, he is out altogether. And the newcomer to the rankings is the Ukrainian Vlad Sirenko, who had a recent win over Andrei Rudenko, with that fight ending in very suspicious and murky circumstances, with Sirenko getting the win. Referee jumps in and just stops the fight out of nowhere. So Sirenko at 15, and his promoter's been celebrating on social media, putting this is Sirenko in at 15. You can see the graphic here, his promoter's B1 Boxing. And this is, I believe, the first time Sirenko has been ranked by the WBO. And pretty light week for heavyweight boxing this weekend. You have, though, the Ukrainian Oleksandr Zakhozhyi, the big 6'9" heavyweight, who is going to be back in the ring. He will be facing in Germany. This is going to be against Pavel Sauer. And Pavel Sauer, you might recall, has been knocked out all over town by a lot of heavyweights in recent years, and more recently seems to be folding within sort of 1, 2, 3 rounds. So we could see something similar here. Zakhozhyi at the moment, currently 15-0. Can't teach height, good skills, maybe a little down on power, but he's a decent heavyweight prospect coming through. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.